At 6:45 a.m., Newark Liberty International Airport was an example of controlled chaos. Thousands of sleep-deprived passengers were passing through Terminal C, dragging their wheeled suitcases and clutching large coffee cups like lifebuoys. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting a harsh, unpleasant light that made everyone look a little uncomfortable. Simone Laurent was waiting in the security line. She had pulled her Columbia University hoodie over her messy bun, trying to blend into the crowd. At 34, she had transformed SkyBridge Aviation from a code project she wrote in a dorm room into a $3.8 billion company that fundamentally changed how airlines managed passenger flow. Its AI-powered boarding systems had reduced gate delays by 40% at 6 major airlines. And 6 days earlier, he had secretly acquired Crestline Airways for $2.2 billion, a deal so confidential that even most of his own board of directors were unaware of it. He was flying to Denver to announce this at the Aviation Technology Summit, where 5,000 industry leaders would gather, but first, he wanted to see what he had purchased. He booked a reservation under his real name on Crestline Flight 884, purchased a first-class ticket with his personal credit card, and dressed like a university student returning home for vacation. He would be shocked by what he saw and experienced shortly. His backpack slung over his shoulder looked like it contained textbooks and protein bars. In reality, it contained a laptop with the Nexus prototype, a new generation AI boarding system capable of detecting fraud, predicting delays, and optimizing seat assignments in real time. Development cost, $150 million. Market value, incalculable. Simone passed through security without issue and headed toward Gate C28. The gate area was crowded. Families were spread out across the seating rows. Business travelers were typing rapidly on their laptops. A child was crying next to a charging station. Behind the gate podium stood a man wearing a Crestline uniform. His badge read Derrick Whitmore, Senior Gate Supervisor. He was tall, white, in his late 40s, with a perpetually irritated expression on his face. Seemingly personally disturbed by what he saw on his screen, he was typing aggressively on his tablet with his index finger. Simone checked her phone. Boarding would begin in 15 minutes. She found an empty seat by the window and took out her laptop, establishing a secure connection to review the Crestline employee files she had been examining all week. Derrick Whitmore. He had been with the company for 15 years. There were numerous complaints about rude behavior and inconsistent policy enforcement. He had received 2 formal warnings. Despite applying for management positions 7 times, he had never been promoted beyond gate supervisor. The situation was clear. He felt ignored, worthless, and angry, and he was projecting that anger onto passengers. He thought he could get something by belittling passengers. He believed that was the only way to satisfy his damaged ego. Simone closed the file. She had dealt with people like Derrick before. They weren't dangerous because they were malicious, but because they thought they were entitled to something they had never earned. Attention passengers on Crestline Flight 8084 to Denver. Derrick's voice crackled over the loudspeaker. Boarding will begin in 5 minutes. However, due to weight restrictions, there are currently 6 overbooked passengers. Passengers who prefer a later flight can find me at the podium for compensation, he announced. Simone frowned. 6 overbooked passengers. She opened the passenger list on her phone. Only she, as the new owner, had access to this list. There were 156 seats on the plane. There were 154 confirmed passengers. She thought for a moment, trying to make sense of what was happening, but there was something she couldn't quite figure out. There were no overbookings. First class and priority boarding passengers may now board the plane, Derrick announced. Simone stood up and slung her backpack over her shoulder. She joined the short line of first-class passengers, a businessman in a suit, an elderly couple, and a woman with a designer bag that cost more than all of Simone's clothes. The businessman stepped up to the podium. Derrick scanned his boarding pass with a warm smile. "Welcome, sir. Have a good flight," he said. The elderly couple, same treatment, cordial, efficient, professional. Then Simone stepped forward. Now it was about to begin. Derrick looked up. His smile vanished instantly, replaced by a flat, appraising gaze. His eyes scanned Simone from her hoodie to her yoga pants to her worn Converse sneakers. "Boarding pass," he said curtly. Simone held out her phone and showed her digital ticket. "Seat 2A. It said first class." Derrick didn't scan it. He just looked at the screen, then at Simone's face, then back at the screen. "Is there a problem?" Simone asked. "This doesn't look right," Derrick said. "What doesn't look right?" Simone asked again. "The barcode." He turned the tablet screen towards Simone, but there was nothing on the screen. He hadn't even tried to scan the barcode. "The system is rejecting it," he said. His goal was very clear. The opportunity he wanted had come to him. Simone was just the right kind of opponent. At least that's what Derrick thought. But there was something so big he didn't know, and he was about to find out. You didn't scan the barcode, Simone said. I don't need to scan the barcode to know something's wrong, Derrick said. Please step aside. I need to verify this with the door attendant, he said, trying to belittle Simone. I'm the door attendant, a voice said. A young woman in her early 20s, blonde, with a name tag that read Ashley, hurried over from the printer station. Mr. Whitmore, is everything okay? She asked. This passenger, said Derrick, pointing at Simone as if she were a suspicious piece of luggage, is showing a fake boarding pass. I want you to check the reservation. Ashley looked apologetically at Simone and typed something into the computer. Okay, I found it. Simone Laurent, seat 2A, first class, paid ticket. Everything looks normal, she replied. Check the payment method, Derrick insisted. Ashley hesitated. Well, Mr. Whitmore, I don't think, she continued. Check it, Derrick said. Ashley's fingers flew over the keyboard. Purchased 6 days ago with a personal credit card, paid in full, no alerts in the system, she replied. Derrick's jaw tightened. What's the name on the card? He asked. Sir, I can't disclose that, Ashley said. I'm the gate agent. Tell me, Derrick continued. Simone Laurent, Ashley said quietly, same as the passenger. The line stretched behind Simone. A man in a suit impatiently cleared his throat. Excuse me, the man said. Can we move along? Some of us have connections. Derrick ignored him. He looked at Simone. I need to see your ID, he said. His purpose was now clear and unambiguous. I don't need ID for a domestic flight, Simone said calmly. TSA already verified it at security. I need to verify that you are who you say you are, Derrick said. My name is on the boarding pass. My name is on the credit card. What exactly are you verifying? Simone asked. She was slowly losing her patience. Derrick leaned toward the podium and spoke in a lowered voice. Listen, sweetheart. I don't know if you bought this ticket on Craigslist or if someone gave it to you as a gift, but first class on this route is $1,200. Are you telling me you paid for this? In these clothes? He sneered. He was looking for an opening every second. He definitely thought he needed to belittle her. But he thought that would satisfy him. The businessman behind Simone held his breath. Just now he continued. Yes, Simone said. Her voice still calm but hardening. I paid $1,200. With my own money. Now scan my boarding pass and let me on the plane, she replied. No, said Derrick. You can't board until we verify that it's not fake. Ashley interjected. Sir, her face flushed. The system shows that, she continued. But Derrick cut her off sharply. I don't care what the system shows. The system can be hacked. I've seen it before. He probably used stolen credit card information, he said, taking the matter to another level. He began to slander and lie. At that moment, Marcus Chen stepped out. Marcus was wearing a blazer over a graphic t-shirt, jeans, and expensive sneakers. He had his phone in his hand and was already recording. Excuse me, Marcus said, stepping forward. I'm Marcus Chen, technology reporter for Aviation Today. Are you accusing this passenger of credit card fraud because of his clothing? He asked. It was a perfectly valid question. Derrick narrowed his eyes. This is none of your business, sir. Please get back in line, he warned Marcus. It's very much my business, Marcus said. He looked at Simone. I know you. You're Simone Laurent. You spoke at TechCrunch Disrupt last year. You founded SkyBridge Aviation. Finally, someone had deciphered the identity she wanted to hide. Simone's heart tightened. She wanted to remain anonymous. But her true identity hadn't been fully revealed yet. Everything was about to come out in a shocking way. I don't care who he claims to be, Derrick said. Until now, you won't be boarding the plane. Marcus interrupted, raising his phone higher. Until when? Until I prove I'm rich enough to travel first class? He asked. And this is classic discrimination, and I'm recording every second of it, he added. Have you been subjected to this kind of discrimination your whole life? Derrick's face flushed. If you don't put that phone away, I'll remove you from this flight, he threatened. Go ahead, said Marcus. Try it. I have 200,000 Twitter followers who want to hear how Crestline Airways profiles its passengers. The gate area fell silent. Everyone was watching now. Derrick looked at Simone, then at Marcus, then at the growing crowd of passengers filming with their phones. He was trapped, and he knew it. He was looking for ways to justify himself somehow. What could he do? How could he blame the other side? He was thinking of ways, but Derrick Whitmore hadn't gotten to where he was today by backing down. Security, Derrick said into his radio. I need help at gate C28. There are disruptive passengers refusing to comply with the rules, he announced over the radio. Simone closed her eyes. The situation was escalating rapidly. Within 90 seconds, 2 airport security officers arrived, a man and a woman, both looking tired and irritable from having to deal with this incident at the gate. What's the situation? Asked the male officer, whose badge read Collins. This woman, said Derrick, pointing at Simone. is trying to board the plane with what I believe is a fake ticket. She's refusing to show her ID, and this man," he pointed at Marcus, "is obstructing the boarding process and threatening staff." He was clearly lying. The security officers were very tense. "I'm a journalist documenting discrimination," Marcus said. "I'm not threatening anyone," he tried to defend himself. Officer Collins looked at Simone. "Ma'am, may I see your ID and boarding pass?" he asked. Simone reached into the pocket of her hooded jacket and pulled out her driver's license. She handed it to the officer along with her phone, which displayed her boarding pass. Collins examined them. "Everything matches. Simone Laurent, seat 2A, it read. "The ticket could still be fake," Derrick insisted. "It could have been purchased with a stolen credit card," he said. "If the card had been stolen," Collins said, "it would have been noticed during check-in. TSA would have stopped it at security. Sir, with all due respect, this ticket appears valid." "I'm the gate agent," Derrick said, raising his voice. "I have the final say on who boards this flight. And I'm telling you, he's not getting on that plane," he said. This situation was now very different for Derrick. He definitely wanted to prevent Simone and Marcus from boarding the plane. He felt especially strongly about Simone. Collins looked at his partner, Officer Rodriguez. They exchanged a look that said, "We don't get paid enough for this." "Sir," Rodriguez said to Derrick, "if the airline has a problem with the ticket, that's a customer service issue. We don't remove passengers from the plane because they look suspicious." "Fine," Derrick said. "Then, as the gate agent, I'm canceling his ticket within my authority. It's effective immediately," he continued. He turned back to his computer and began typing. "You can't just cancel someone's ticket," Ashley said in horror. "Mr. Whitmore, this isn't right." "I can and I am," Derrick said. "Ticket canceled. Passenger removed from the manifest. Now trespassing," he said. What he was doing was illegal, and he knew it. With a theatrical gesture, he pressed enter. Simone watched as her boarding pass on her phone vibrated and changed. "Ticket canceled. Invalid," it read. The gate area was in chaos. Passengers were shouting. Marcus's fingers flew across his phone screen, live tweeting the incident. Collins looked at Simone. "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but if the airline has canceled your ticket, you cannot remain in the gate area. You need to go to the ticket counter to resolve this issue," he said. Simone looked at Derrick. Derrick was now smiling, the subtle, cruel smile of someone who had just won. "Officer," Simone said quietly, "I need to make a phone call before you escort me out. To the CEO of Crestline Airways." Derrick laughed. "The CEO? Ma'am, the CEO doesn't take random passengers' calls." "Nice try." "You're right," Simone said, pulling a second phone from her backpack, a sleek, black, unbranded device. "The CEO doesn't take passengers' calls, but he takes his own." She dialed a number and put it on speaker. The phone rang once. Crestline Airways Management Office, a professional voice answered. "This is Rebecca, CEO Simone Laurent's assistant." The gate area fell silent. Derrick's smile faded. "Rebecca," Simone said. "It's me. You need to send the board decision from last week's acquisition meeting to my personal email. Also, let them know I'll be arriving in Denver about 4 hours late. An employee in Newark won't let me board the plane." "Understood, Miss Laurent," said Rebecca. "I'll send it right away. Would you like me to contact the legal department?" "Not yet," said Simone, "but have them stand by." She hung up the phone. Everyone at the entrance gate had their eyes on Derrick Whitmore. His face had turned from red to white. His hands were shaking. You, he stammered. "The CEO of SkyBridge Aviation," said Simone. "He bought 100% of Crestline Airways 6 days ago. You work for me now, Derrick. And you just canceled your boss's ticket." The silence at gate C-28 lasted exactly 3 seconds. Passengers were screaming, gasping for breath, pulling out their phones. Marcus Chen's fingers were moving so fast on the Twitter screen that they were blurry. The young gate attendant Ashley looked like she was about to faint. Derrick Whitmore stood frozen behind the podium, his face showing shock, disbelief, and slowly creeping horror. This is impossible," Derrick whispered. "You're lying." Simone raised her phone. On the screen was an email from her assistant Rebecca, containing a PDF. The subject line read, "Crestline Airways Acquisition, Board of Directors Decision, Confidential." She turned the phone so Derrick could see it. Derrick leaned forward, squinting, and his face turned from white to gray. "Oh my God," Ashley whispered, reading over Derrick's shoulder. "He's right." Officer Collins stepped forward. "Ma'am, Ms. Laurent, I'm sorry, we had no idea." "You were doing your job, officer," Simone said, her voice calm but now sharp. "You responded to a call, but Mr. Whitmore wasn't doing his job. He was judging a passenger by his appearance, refusing to scan a valid ticket, and abusing his authority." She turned to Derrick. "You canceled my ticket, Derrick. On what grounds?" Derrick's mouth opened and closed like a fish trying to breathe. There was no glitch in the system," Simone said. Ashley confirmed it. Officer Collins confirmed it. "The only thing wrong with you was me." She pointed to her hoodie and yoga pants. This is what wrong looks like to you, isn't it? The crowd had now moved closer, phones raised, recording every word. Marcus Chen pointed his phone at Derrick like a gun. His Twitter post had already been retweeted 40,000 times. Breaking: Crestline Airways gate agent refuses to let woman who owns the airline board flight. This can't be real. Share. I'm going to file a formal complaint, Simone continued, her voice calm. Not just about this incident, but about the pattern of behavior I've observed since the purchase. You've been warned 17 times for inconsistent policy enforcement. What does that mean, Derrick? Derrick didn't respond. His eyes darted around, searching for an escape route. This, Simone said, means you're treating passengers differently based on criteria that have nothing to do with airline policy, and I want to know why. She looked at Ashley. Bring me the waiting list for this flight. Ashley's hands trembled as she touched the keyboard. Well, Miss Laurent, the waiting list shows 6 passengers. 6, Simone's eyes narrowed. But Derrick announced there were 6 overbooked passengers. If there's overbooking, why is there a waiting list? These concepts are mutually exclusive. Ashley stared at the screen, confused. I don't know. That doesn't make sense. Simone pulled out her phone and accessed the back-end systems only visible to managers. She opened the flight manifest, the wait queue, and the gate processing log. And there it was. Over the past 2 hours, Derrick had performed 6 manual wait approval transactions outside the normal system. Each had a note next to it. Priority wait. Cash payment approved. Simone's jaw tightened. Derrick, what is priority wait? Derrick's silence was deafening. Because, Simone continued, her voice taking on a dangerous tone, Crestline doesn't have a priority hold program. So either you invented it, or... She cut herself off, realizing suddenly, or you're selling seats. The crowd held its breath. Marcus's phone was trembling in his hand. Damn it. She's accusing him of selling seats. This is insane. I want to see your phone, Derrick, Simone said. You can't, Derrick replied. I can, Simone said. I'm the CEO. You're using company equipment to conduct company business. Hand it over. Derrick clutched his phone tightly to his chest. I have rights. You can't just... Officer Collins, Simone said, her eyes never leaving Derrick. I'm formally reporting an employee for suspected theft. I believe Mr. Whitmore has defrauded passengers in the airline. I need to seize that phone as evidence. Collins looked at Rodriguez. This incident had gone far beyond a simple door dispute. Sir, Collins said to Derrick, you need to hand over the phone. Derrick looked frantically around him. The crowd had formed a semicircle around the podium. There was nowhere to run. He could see his reflection in dozens of phone screens, all recording, all live streaming, all watching him ruin himself in real time. His hand moved toward the phone screen. He was trying to delete something. Don't, Simone said sharply. If you delete the evidence, that's obstruction. But Derrick's finger had already started swiping, frantically tapping. Marcus put his phone down and made a call. Yes, you need to archive my Twitter feed immediately. Everything I've shared in the last 10 minutes. Full backup. He's deleting the evidence right now. Yes, I'm serious. Do it immediately. Simone turned to Ashley. The transaction log. Can you get back what you just deleted? Ashley began typing, her face drained. Oh no. There's an app. It's not in our system. It's called FastPass Standby. Apparently, customers were paying him directly through the app, and he was manually adding them to flights. She turned the screen towards Simone. The app's interface was simple but functional. A list of flights, a list of available seats, a payment portal, and a transaction history showing dozens of payments ranging from $50 to $100. How long has this been going on? Simone asked. Ashley scrolled. The oldest transaction, 18 months ago. Simone did the math in her head. A conservative estimate. 3 transactions per shift, 5 shifts per week, 18 months. That was over $100,000. Derrick, Simone said, her voice ice cold, you've been robbing passengers in this airline for a year and a half. I wasn't stealing, Derrick finally said, his voice defensive and desperate. I was providing a service. People wanted to get on the plane. I helped them. They paid me for my time. You charged them for seats they could have gotten for free with the normal wait time, Simone cut him off. You artificially created overbooking situations to force people to pay you, and you kicked legitimate passengers like me off the plane to make room for your paying customers. The crowd now murmured angrily. A few passengers checked their receipts, wondering if they had been scammed. A woman waiting in economy class shouted, "He did the same thing to me last month. The plane is full unless I pay $75 for priority," she shouted. Another voice, "Me too, I paid $100. Marcus was typing faster than ever. Passengers in the gate area are also claiming they were scammed. This will be a class action lawsuit. Officer Rodriguez spoke into his radio. Central, send a supervisor to gate C28. Notify the Port Authority Fraud Division too. There may be a theft case. Derrick's face twisted. Please, I have a family. I have a mortgage. They didn't promote me 7 times. 7 times. I earned that money. I earned it. You stole it, Simone said quietly. And you humiliated passengers who couldn't pay. You created a system where people have to bribe you to get what they deserve. This isn't service. This is extortion. She turned to Collins. I want him arrested. Miss Laurent, Collins said carefully. We can take him into custody, but to arrest him, I'm filing a complaint. The woman who had shouted stepped forward. I paid him $75 in cash. I have the receipt from Venmo. He said it was the only way to get on the plane. I'm filing a lawsuit too, said another passenger. Within 2 minutes, 8 passengers stepped forward, all explaining they had paid Derrick for priority boarding access. Marcus's Twitter thread had exploded. 1.2 million views. News channels were covering it. 8 CNN. Breaking Crestline Airways gate agent accused of seat fraud confronts airline CEO. A tall, gray-haired man in a suit, who looked like someone important, made his way through the crowd. His name tag read Ronald Pierce, Regional Operations Manager. Miss Laurent, Pierce said, out of breath. I just heard. I came as quickly as I could. You're Pierce, Simone said, recognizing him from employee files. You're Derrick's supervisor. Yes, ma'am. And I assure you, I had no idea. Is that so? Simone opened another file on her phone. Because according to the transaction records, there's a second account that takes 30% of every payment Derrick processes. This account is registered under the name Karen Hayes, your door operations manager. Pierce's face paled. Karen wouldn't do such a thing. And Karen's supervisor, Simone continued, is you. So either you're an accomplice or you're incompetent. Which is it? Pierce opened his mouth, closed it, and said nothing. That's what I thought, Simone said. She looked at Collins. I want Whitmore, Hayes, and Pierce all taken into custody for the duration of the investigation. Collins nodded. Rodriguez, call for backup. As more security guards arrived, Simone turned to the crowd of passengers. Most were still filming, but their mood had shifted from anger to awe. Ladies and gentlemen, Simone said, raising her voice to be heard. I apologize for this confusion. This is not the Crestline Airways I purchased, nor is it the airline you will be flying with in 6 months. All passengers who paid Mr. Whitmore will receive a full refund and a complimentary round-trip ticket. Please report to the customer service desk with your receipts. The crowd erupted in applause. Simone turned to Ashley. You tried to do the right thing. You questioned him. That takes courage, she replied. Ashley's eyes filled with tears. I'm so sorry, Miss Laurent. I should have reported him. You're reporting him now, Simone said gently. And you'll help me make sure this never happens again. Would you like a promotion to gate operations supervisor? Your first task will be to oversee all gate agents in this terminal. Ashley's mouth fell open. Yes, ma'am, thank you. Simone turned to Marcus Chen. You're the reporter who broke this story. You'd like an exclusive interview, I suppose? Marcus smiled. That would be great. Denver, tomorrow, after the acquisition announcement. You'll be the first to interview him. Marcus extended his hand. Simone shook it. Derrick Whitmore was being led away in handcuffs, still protesting, still insisting he hadn't done anything wrong. Simone finally allowed herself to feel the fatigue that had been building since 6:45 a.m. Officer Collins approached her. Miss Laurent, we need an official statement. Of course, Simone said. But first I need to get on a plane. I have an announcement to make in Denver. She looked at the jet bridge. Ashley, is the plane ready? Yes, ma'am, said Ashley, still looking bewildered by everything that had happened. Then let's get on the plane. 3 days later. The results were shocking. Derrick Whitmore was tried for wire fraud, theft, and extortion. The FBI seized his phone, laptop, and bank records. The FastPass Standby app had processed $127,000 in payments over 18 months. Prosecutors estimated he had defrauded over 200 passengers. Karen Hayes and Ronald Pierce were also arrested. Hayes had taken $38,000 in bribes. Pierce claimed he didn't know, but digital forensics experts found emails where Derrick explicitly outlined the plan, and Pierce replied, "Don't get caught." The story went viral. By the weekend, Crestline scam was trending worldwide. Marcus Chen's Twitter thread was viewed 15 million times. And then the lawsuits began. A class action lawsuit was filed on behalf of all passengers who paid Derrick's priority wait fees. The plaintiff's attorney estimated the damages at $2 million. But Simone didn't fight it. She settled immediately, refunded all complaining passengers' fees, and added a $500 goodwill payment to each claim. At the Aviation Technology Summit in Denver, Simone took the stage in front of 5,000 industry leaders. This time, she wasn't wearing a hoodie. She was dressed in a sleek navy suit, her hair perfectly styled. Simone began, 3 days ago, at my own airline, a gate agent decided I didn't look like first class and wouldn't let me board the plane. Today I am announcing that SkyBridge Aviation has acquired Crestline Airways. I am also announcing that our AI-powered boarding system, Nexus, which makes fraud impossible as I have demonstrated, will be available immediately. The crowd responded with applause. Nexus removes human bias from the boarding process, Simone continued. It uses facial recognition, real-time payment verification, and fraud detection algorithms. No more priority boarding scams, no more discrimination, just fair, transparent, and efficient boarding. The system was rolled out at all Crestline gates within 30 days. Derrick Whitmore pleaded guilty to avoid trial. He was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison and ordered to pay $2 million in restitution. This was far more than the money he stole, as the court added compensation for the damages suffered by passengers whose flights were disrupted and the airline's loss of reputation. Karen Hayes received a 4-year prison sentence. Ronald Pierce received a 2-year prison sentence and was banned from working in the aviation industry for life. And Simone Laurent, she became the face of airline reform. Within a year, 3 other airlines adopted Nexus. Passenger complaints decreased by 60%. Employee fraud cases decreased by 90%. But her proudest moment came 6 months after the Newark incident. She was flying to Boston commercial first class, wearing jeans and a hooded sweatshirt, because that's what she wanted to wear. The gate agent scanned her boarding pass, looked up and smiled. "Welcome aboard, Miss Laurent. Have a good flight." There was no doubt, no profiling, no drama, just a transaction between 2 people, both doing their jobs. Simone smiled too. "Thank you, it will be." As she walked through the jet bridge, she thought of Derrick Whitmore, sitting in a cell, probably still convinced he hadn't done anything wrong. She didn't feel victorious. There was no sense of revenge. She felt tired and hopeful, because the system was better now. Not perfect, but better, and it was worth fighting for.